And we're live. Hello, everybody. I'm Hero Bexit.
Hi, everyone.
You should hear her. I checked the plugin before we started this time, unlike every other time.
Wait, can they hear this? Ghost Grippin trademark 2024.
They can. They can.
Oh, good.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So, um, I don't know where to start. Do you want to start with boat news? Is there boat news? I
Um,
don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
no, it's all good. There's a couple weird, interesting things that have happened. So number one is that there we have been able to show on satellite that there is grain leaving Odessa and being delivered to Syria, which is kind of odd, not really expected.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's great that grain is being sold. So we'll take anybody's money at this point because it feeds into the Ukrainian economy. It's definitely something that we are tracking. To be clear, during the Black Sea Grain Initiative, we did have ships that delivered to Iran, for instance. So it's not like this is a surprise and a new thing. People from all over the world buy grain from Ukraine, and this is a really good example of that specifically. It was just kind of an interesting thing to highlight. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that we saw earlier this week, I think it was yesterday even, the Sparta 4, which is a Russian cargo ship that typically transports between Syria and Crimea, was coming back from Syria, stopped in Turkish waters in the Sea of Marmara, which is kind of outside the Black Sea. You just have to cross through the Bosphorus Strait to get to the Black Sea there. And they waited until it was their turn to go through the Bosphorus Strait. And then they got like to the front of the Bosphorus Strait. And then they turned around and went back the other way, which is really unusual. Usually they would go through the Bosphorus Strait and then they would go to Novorossiysk, where they've been going in and out of recently since they kind of got chased out of Crimea. So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on too. We don't know why that happened. We don't know where they're going. I presume maybe they're going back to Syria. Good question. Things to keep an eye on, things that aren't normal, and non-normal things are things that I watch pretty closely.
Yeah.
But that's really the only big boat news that I have that's happened lately. And it's not huge by any means, but it's interesting.
Boat news.
Yeah.
We have some other grain related news. You said you're thinking about writing a like a thread about this. Are you still going to do that? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
No pressure. I'm just curious.
Like when I have more time in my life, right?
Yeah. So
not today.
over the past few days, Russia has been targeting grain basically all over the country. I guess they do this frequently, but over the past few days, it's been particularly noted.
Yeah.
Oh, my image loaded and it immediately broke. What's up with that? That's weird.
Rude.
It actually like loaded and it just went away. But anyways, there was this grain storage in near Kharkiv, not in the city of Kharkiv, but near it, was shot with S-300 missiles and caused pretty significant damage. There was another grain storage up here in Sumi that was hit and did damage as well. Then of course there was the grain in Poland that was removed from trains, I guess.
Yeah.
Which isn't very nice.
And to just an update to that, we have started to see some of those people show up in court cases in Poland already. So it's nice that they're actually prosecuting some of them right away. But yeah, they need to get a handle on that crap. And of course, there was some attacks down in Rennie, the port of Rennie, earlier this week as well.
Yeah. So that's some grain related news. And also somewhat related, um there's been a lot of mine wounds and mine kills. Of I think they're mostly farmers. Um kind of going out into their fields a little bit and yeah, mines.
Lots of
It's
mines.
pretty sad. There have been a few killed, a few more wounded, some very badly wounded, and some of the like and these mines, of note, they were not like the butterfly type mine where you step on it and you lose a foot. These were more sophisticated mines, from what I could tell, because they weren't getting limb injuries; they were getting like full body injuries. Like, they described it as one of them. They may have been a booby trap instead of a mine, but they described it as he was like hit with a bag of buckshot or something like that. Um,
Yikes.
yeah. So yeah, there's been a number of mines. I've been a number of that. I used this marker. It typically means mine, but I also used it for grain.
Hmm.
But usually this marker means mine. So when you see it, that's what that marker means. Or not necessarily a mine, but it can be a unexploded ordnance or something like that.
Something that um, SEUS, is it SEUS? I think it's SEUS, has to deal with the emergency services, which, if you don't mind, I will bring up that just actually as we were starting the stream, I posted a threat or a note from my friend Vlad, who is responsible for mine clearing in different parts of Ukraine that Andrew just talked about. Um, and he is awesome, not just because he clears mines, but also because he's working really hard to innovate how they clear mines. I've talked about the spider boots before that I thought were crazy when they first started using them, but they're actually really useful, and they've started supplying them to frontline sappers when they're going out to clear mines as well. And they're starting to put those into production. They're working on some different UAV techniques for clearing mines as well, trying to clear them faster, um, and just more area as we go through. So if you are wanting to contribute to something like the mine clearing stuff that he does, that would be, you can go to my buy me a coffee. All of that money is going there. And uh, we're going to, it's not easy to get funding to try out new things to make things better. And so that's what we're working to do together.
Yeah, the getting that funding, that is difficult. I remember him talking about how hard it is because when the people who give money, they typically want their money to help somebody,
Yeah.
like directly. So they would
Hmm.
rather like those programs where they were buying those like mine clearing equipment, like those,
Yeah.
like people would rather give money to that than give
Right.
money to R&D.
Yeah. Which, like, functionally, R&D in the long run is going to do more to clear, like, Andrew, do you remember the numbers specifically of how many unexploded ordnance they talked about per day?
um it varied so much. I think they said it was 740,000 total.
Oh,
So,
I thought it was like 3 million. Didn't I?
dude, I can't. I don't even know.
I'll look that up.
I thought it was 740,000. Maybe I don't know.
I remember earlier this week I found one and sent it to you. And I just remember looking at the numbers going, holy bananas cakes. I don't even know how they will ever clear all the mines in Ukraine. The number was so big. But I'll look the actual number up because it was just ginormous. And doing it the old way, it'll get done eventually, but we're talking about like decades of time if we continue to do the things that people have always done to clear mines. We need to find new ways to clear mines, and we need to find new ways to save people's lives as they're doing it, because that the size of the problem is just astronomical.
Yeah. I'm trying to scroll back through time because I sometimes I put like an icon in the middle of Ukraine that is like a nationwide icon. And I think I did one for mines recently, but I can't find it. Anyway, maybe it was just longer ago than I remember. Time like all goes together after a while.
It really, really does.
Anyways, we got some interesting news today. Uh, and it involved another. Well, this was a Telegram post, wasn't it? But it involved these satellite images. These are pretty low res. These are from Sentinel, I believe. So it's 10-meter resolution. So every pixel is 10 meters. So it's pretty low resolution. But it showed what could be maybe um, big asterisk um, plane crashes in relation to the planes that Ukraine claimed they shot down, specifically the Su-34s. So these three little green eyeballs, um, they depict. I guess I could open this image. Okay, so they depict the this is the area, the general area. It's very dark. He probably should have used the lightening tool to lighten it a little bit. But you can see this kind of burned out area in the middle where there's this convenient white rectangle, and he this is a fire, and the argument here is that this fire maybe was caused by an airplane crashing.
An
Now,
airplane that got taken out by a ghost.
maybe by a ghost. The ghost of an airplane, you know? They come when you least expect it. You might not even see it coming. You might not even see it going. You may not even know it's there. But um but yeah, this so the arguments for this being a weird thing to have fire is that it's like 1 degree. it's it's just cold. Not
Cold and
necessarily.
rainy.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not fire weather necessarily. There could be a natural fire, or it could be a fire from something else. We did have a question for you about this. Could would a farmer light their land on fire?
Uh, so yes, absolutely a farmer could light their land on fire. Um, it is plausible that they might do that when it was rainy, so it didn't spread too far. Um, However, it's been so rainy that it's unlikely that that fire would spread as much as you see that spreading, um, without some form of accelerant or something else like that, that maybe caused that to happen. So it's plausible, but I don't know that I would bet on it. And I also don't know that a farmer that close to the front line who risks Russian shelling and other such things
Well,
is
these are
likely.
These are not near the front line. They're actually
Oh,
like,
sorry.
yeah, one's
You're
down
further back.
near Mariupol, and the other two are kind of close to Russia.
I thought we
So
were on the other side. My bad.
no.
Um, yeah, it's it's plausible. There's certainly it's a possibility. I don't know that I would bet on it, especially because that one field is like green. You're not going to burn a green field.
Yeah, yeah. This one is pretty interesting too. It's near water,
Mhm.
which is this is like a lake
Yes.
or something. I can never tell if something is a lake or a pond in Ukraine because there are like so many like man-made ponds. But whatever. Um,
Mm,
so,
that's a
anyways,
problem.
uh, yeah, these could be fires. I'm not saying they are fires. I have no idea if they're fires or not. But what it does, what this is that it could be that they're fires. Um, and they're interesting, and therefore maybe somebody should shell out money to buy a high res image and see.
That sounds like a great plan.
The problem is that I did a cursory search and I searched two of the locations. I can't remember which two it was. One of these locations is more interesting than the others. I can't remember which it was. But one of the locations was like almost confirmed to be a plane crash already, like without the image. Um, and I
So in
searched
one of the other, sorry, go ahead.
I searched that one first for high res image, and the most current high res image was a beautiful, crisp image. It was 15 centimeter, not a cloud in the sky. But guess what? It was the day before the plane crashed. So you could get perfect image the day before, but there's nothing the day of or after.
Uh, and it wasn't tasked at all. That area wasn't tasked.
There were taskings, but they're all cloudy, so they're useless.
Mm.
Like, and when I say cloudy, I mean 100% cloud.
Dang it!
Like you can't. It's just white. It's just white.
Spring clouds, man. Uncool. Very uncool.
Yeah. So, anyways, maybe yeah, and that's the problem is that if they are plane crashes, they would probably clean up the site pretty quickly, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So you would need an image from like the day it happened or like the day after or something, maybe like 2 days later. But now it might be too late, and we don't have images from back then. So maybe it's not even worth buying images.
I mean, when planes blow up, things get spread over fairly decently large areas. There's a chance that they didn't get everything when they cleaned it up, I suppose.
Yeah,
It might
true.
be like the edges areas that you might find some evidence.
Yeah, maybe. But to see it on a satellite, it would need to be a big old chunk.
That's true.
You need a chunk because even like 15 centimeter resolution is pretty good. It's the best
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get in Ukraine, like for sure. Um, and to be fair, it's not actually 15 centimeter. It's kind of synthetic because it's actually a 30 something centimeter image that's upscaled using AI to 15 centimeter. But it's pretty sharp, and even with that, you can't see anything much smaller than it would probably need to be like 30 centimeters large to like see what it is, you know.
So wait, couldn't our friends who are better with SAR images try and see if there was any reflectivity through the clouds in those areas during those days?
They could if you can get SAR in Ukraine, which is easier said than done because a lot of the companies
Be fair.
don't let you take images in Ukraine. But if you
There's that.
could, Yes. If it
Fair.
were, if it was tasked, I guess. I don't know how that works. I think you have to task it.
Hmm.
There was a question if I have a buy me a coffee, and I do have a buy me a coffee. If you look at my map, that's what this top link is. This top link is buy me a coffee, except I call
Hmm.
it buy me a map.
Excellent.
Uh, Anyways, I'm gonna look through the chat to see if there are any questions or anything.
I did find the number I was looking for. It was from a person with the UN who's been demining for 30 years now in different areas across the world. And he was talking about his experience in Ukraine. And he said that if you assume that 10% of every ordnance fired does not explode, uh, or every ordnance laid, you're talking about, let's say, 30,000 ordnance per day. 10% of that would be 3,000 per day. That becomes a very, very large number when you multiply it by the number of days that we've been at this so far. Uh, so we're talking like in the millions of ordnance that could be left lying around waiting to be cleared.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. When I said 700,000, I meant that's how many they cleared already. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah. But yeah, there's gonna be millions more. Probably, like honestly, tens of millions more.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually depressing to think about. Ukraine has got to be the most mined place in the world, probably. Um,
That's what he was saying specifically, that it's basically the size of two Frances, eh, with the most mines that you'll find in the world, like the highest incidence of them.
yeah, there might be like individual areas that are more densely mined, like that one place on the border of North and South Korea is like crazily mined. Um,
Hmm.
but Ukraine is just mined everywhere. So, uh, yeah,
When Andrew and I need to doom together, we just talk about mines and we both get depressed. It's great.
yeah, these minefields in south of, like the south of, or in Zaporizhia, uh, there's probably 10 or 20 million mines here, to be honest. Just like right there. Um, okay, so I'm gonna move to another topic. Sumi has been getting shellacked. That's my news. Is Sumi is getting shellacked. Uh, it's getting hit by everything. They've been getting hit by tons of airstrikes. They've been getting hit by. Oh, there's a fantastic video actually from yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it? I think it's no. This yes, this is a great video. Um, I'm gonna open it.
Why Sumi?
I don't know, but this is a great video.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was filmed by their the state emergency services. But yeah, this was the result of an airstrike, I believe. I think they dropped 4 bombs. I tried geolocating this, but I was doing it at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was toasted at that point and I couldn't find it. But I think it's either in this town or in this town, but I'm pretty sure it's this town. And I know that in the background of that video, there's a big tower, and this is that tower right here.
Hmm.
If you look in this video, you see that there's a big tower right there, and it's right here. But I couldn't figure out where it was, and we also know that you're like roughly 90 degrees to the tower. Or well, the tower is like, you can see through the tower, so you're not on a 45-degree angle to the tower. And there's town between you and the tower. So that means that you either have to be this way or that way or that way or that way, right? So, but here, over here, you're like, if you draw it out, I kind of think the airstrike was like here, but I couldn't. I was too tired. I couldn't find it. But yeah,
How often do you fall asleep when you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning?
I don't fall asleep, but I just continuously lose my ability to focus. uh,
When I'm tracking ships at like late at night, I will often like my eyes will close and I'll wake up and oh yeah, right. And then my eyes will close like for consistently for the last 10 minutes of tracking ships. It happens.
yeah,
I'm impressed that you don't do that.
yeah. I don't. I'm not much for like falling asleep while doing things. Like I just get this overwhelming feeling of I don't care. That's what I get. So,
That's fair.
anyways, back to the point. Sumi is getting shellacked. I think the governor he posted something today. I haven't mapped it yet. Let me see if I can find it. But I think he said there were 3,100 shellings like this week in Sumi, and I don't think like that's like 6 months worth of shelling. Like 31, it's not like 3,100 shells. It's 3,100 fire missions, and you imagine like every fire mission is probably like 5 shells or something, or three maybe. Like it's a lot of shells in a. Just think about that. It's like it's probably like between like 10 and 15,000 artillery shells. Like that's how like that's the aid package from Germany the other day. Like they give 14,000 shells. So and that's just shelling random towns in Sumi, you know? So um, let's see if I can find that. Maybe it was the state prosecutor's office who said it. No. There's a lot of news from Sumi today, and it's all Sumi got shelled a lot. So I'm trying to find which one is the one. But there were two police officers who were killed by artillery today. Um, where was that? That was in uh uh Houghton? Isn't it the town north of this is that's Kiev. I think it's the town just yeah, right here. So two police officers were killed in this town from shelling, and I have an obituary for them in my spreadsheet if I can find it. Having trouble finding it. My spreadsheet is very small. It's actually embarrassing. I can't find it. I just I want you to go through what I'm going through. It's one of these. Okay, is it this one? Uh, no. Is it this one? This is riveting. No, it's the same one. Is it this one? Yes. Okay, I found it.
I just think it's great that everybody gets to see the spreadsheet.
Yeah. So these are the two police officers who were killed. Um, so what I think happened is that the town was shelled. The police went there to help people, and then they were shelled again. I think that's what happened. But yeah, it's just sad. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just Sumi's getting hit really hard. With tons of airstrikes. Following the news, I see reports of an airstrike about every 4 to 6 hours, and they seem to be dropping like 4 to 12 missile or bombs, 4 to 12 bombs every time. Occasionally they do like rocket shelling with like their unguided rockets. Anyways, that's all that's going on in Sumi at the moment. I don't really have anything else to say other than it's just not going great. They've also been getting hit by shaheds, and they've been shooting down shaheds as well with their mobile uh, firing teams, whatever they call them. There's a pretty cool image of that today that came out of Lviv. I tweeted about it. They have these great icons on the side of their little pickup trucks. Let me see. Uh, this is this is it. I really like this icon of the burning shahed. So these are their new pickup trucks that were donated, I think, by the city of Lviv. So they gave a whole bunch of trucks. I think it was like 12 total. They seem kind of naked at the moment. I think they're gonna put machine guns on the back. Yeah. Anyway, that's my Sumi news. We rarely talk about Sumi, so I just want to talk about that for a second. Um, all of that is also generally true of Kharkiv, to be honest. Kharkiv is also getting hit pretty hard, and so is Kherson. The list of towns shelled in Kherson yesterday was absurd. I maybe I'll show you a document. Um, every day I make these documents. I don't really share them with people because uh, they really have a reason to. But um, I make this document, and this is the list of towns shelled in Kherson yesterday. The last two are Mykolaiv, but this is just a lot of towns shelled. So this document that I make every day, it's color coded in that the normal text is the morning report, and yellow is the evening report, and this green is from basically Telegram. So that's the way this is broken down. And so yeah, I have the red text are assaults, the green text are airstrikes, and blue text are shellings. So every day I make this document, and then I don't share it with anybody because I'm a weirdo. But this is what I do, and I've made one of these for every single day of the war. Some are more detailed than others. Sometimes I add like 5 or 6 pages of analysis. Sometimes it's just like this, where it's just because I went to sleep. Anyways, there's a lot of towns getting shelled in Kherson. Um, I didn't map them all. Sometimes I map some of them. Like on the 25th, I was feeling pretty with it, so I mapped some of the towns that I got shelled. I still didn't hit them all. Anyways, so getting into the more military news. Um, in Sinkivka, there have been dozens of assaults around Sinkivka recently. Some have been trying to move through this forest. Some have been trying to move into the town itself. Uh, from what I understand, Russia has not had much success around Sinkivka. Yeah, and yeah, the keeping the daily records has been uh, it's been important to me to keep those written records because I'm not sure who else is doing that sort of thing. So like um, it's just interesting to keep it all to have every single day listed. Um, I've changed the format over time. Um, I used to use this document to update the map, which is why there's these clicky things. So I would click them when I put it on the map, but I don't do that anymore because I have other documents for updating the map. But yeah, these documents, maybe they will go into a book or something at some point, or maybe I'll just have tons of pointless documents. I don't know, dude.
I would think that uh, historians, when they start to look back on this, which will probably be years down the line, but that's like a huge wealth of data that they don't have to go find anywhere. And that's amazing.
Yeah, there was a long period of time where I had sources for every single line, but then I started making the spreadsheets, and the spreadsheets have all the sources, and it felt like a lot to put sources in both. So I think if you have with the spreadsheet and those documents combined, I think you would have all the sources and all the data. Yeah. So, anyways, there have been around a few, many dozens attacks on Sinkivka. I think yesterday they said there were like 20 assaults near Sinkivka, and today I didn't see a number, but it was a whole bunch too. Um, Ivanivka is also being assaulted, but I don't think there's been any uh, progress there. There's was a Russian assault near Tabaivka. I think that's how you pronounce it. Not entirely sure, but they lost a BMP here. I haven't fully updated the map yet, so there's no image, but a BMP was destroyed right there in this assault. But generally speaking, from what I understand, the intensity of fighting in the Kupiansk area is down from what it was a while ago, and of the intensity that still exists, it's mostly focused around Sinkivka. So that's kind of this Kupiansk area. Um, Now to the Kremenna area, Russia is putting a lot of pressure on Terny and Yampolivka, and to a lesser extent Torska, and also to a lesser extent um, Makivka, and yeah, these all these towns basically. They're trying to push Ukraine across the river. So the river runs like right here. I'll go to the other view. Okay, so the river runs right here. It's the Zherebets River. They're trying to push Ukraine across it. Um, Torska is where a lot of the crossings on the river are, and for a long time, Russia was trying to push into Torska to take it. Um, there are these like kind of secondary crossings across these um, pond reservoir things, but these crossings are much more dangerous to cross because it's much more wide open. But the Ukraine does cross them, and of course, north of those reservoirs, there are various crossing points across the river up here. Like all of these major bridges have been destroyed. Some of them have been repaired. Some of them, like, they've been destroyed and repaired so many times, it's like almost comical. It's like there's like a bridge that was blown up, and then a pontoon bridge on top, and then the pontoon's like blown up, and then they put like a pontoon on top of the pontoon. It's just like kind of funny after a while, but they're making it work that you could cross the river up there. But where Russia's trying to push them across the river, it's hard to tell if Russia just wants to push Ukraine across the river and then use the river as a defensive position, or whether they want to keep going and capture Lemon, or maybe keep going and go all the way to the Siversky Donetsk River the way they used to be, or whatever. It's hard to tell exactly what their motivations are, but it seems that their their kind of minimum is to kick Ukraine across. And so far, Ukraine has resisted. Who knows how long they'll be able to resist? And I think their resistance is in large part due to their ability to control this southern forest that's south of Kremenna. And their ability to control this forest is largely due to their hold on Bilohorivka. And we talked about Bilohorivka quite a bit in the last stream. So there's that. Bilorivka is the anchor holding that allows Ukraine to hold these forests, and these forests are allowing them to support these crossings. Okay. And from what I understand, Russia is trying to attack south into these forests over the past few days. They kind of seem to be alternating between going west and going south. It's like they go west until they get stuck, and then they try going south, and that doesn't work. So then they try west again. And they just kind of like go back and forth. And I think right now that we're on like the go south, uh, like part of the TikTok, and then they'll probably get bored and try to go west again. Okay, so I don't know if any changes in the Seabursk area, and I'm gonna go into 3D to talk about probably everything else. I hope you liked my flick. Okay, so let's go 3D. I even updated my 3D map because I haven't updated it in like 4 months, but um okay. So I kind of want to talk about Ivanivska. Um, so Ukraine held the heights above Ivanivska, which were to the north of the town. We've talked about these heights so much, oh, but long story short, over the past week or so, Ukraine lost pretty much all of these heights. We saw lots of footage coming out of here of Russia assaulting and taking these forests and going up and taking these forests. Um, so we also saw the video of the. I don't know if I can say that word. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about with the 9 guys. I don't think I can say that word. Oh, wrong button. So, hi, Constantine.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm eating. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. You just came, so I just wanted to say. What is going on in the chat? Why are people fighting? What are people fighting about? Oh, there's a.
What are people doing?
People are fighting in the chat, man. They're like. This one guy keeps saying the word cope. Whatever. Get along in the chat. That's all I have to say. Anyways, I'm talking about Ivanivska and how Ukraine lost the heights to the north of the town, and Russia is using these heights to basically flank the town, and they're probably going to attack down the hill and try to cut off the logistics support of the town. So there's this main highway that goes in and feeds the town, and when the Russians get up on this hill, this highway is in a lot of trouble. I'm not sure what other roads there are to the town beyond the highway. There's like this farm road over here, but this is overall a pretty bad situation. Now, Constantine, do you know anybody in this area? Have you heard anything?
Sorry, man. I just joined, so I don't even know which area you're talking about.
The area that is directly west of Bakhmut.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just pulling up the Shipment. Ivanyivska. Yeah, I know people from there, both west, like all around Bakhmut. Unfortunately, it's things that are not
Yeah.
quite good. There were no fortification. There was some old ones, not properly built, just some bunkers, even concrete ones, but just some of them. So we're like Russians are taking heavy damage also, but they're advancing. So I don't, what exactly do I don't have that much information to give you, just.
Yep. Anyways, it seems to me that the town is probably going to be lost in the near future. And
Yeah,
beyond,
we will probably try to move further to the chassis VR
yeah, it's
and withdraw from everywhere in the south from Ivanivsk.
what
We cannot hold it. It's not. There are no fortifications there on the flank, so we'll have to move back.
yeah, which is frustrating, to be honest. It seems to be the theme going on right now is no fortifications, which I can't
Well,
understand.
it's not only fortifications; it's also there are no people. So Zelensky basically refused to his government, I would say, did not provide finances for civilian administrations to build the fortificate to join into building fortifications. They did not provide heavy equipment and people to the military to build the fortifications, and mobilization was not kicked in. So that's the basically the result of the politics. He was waiting for a miracle to happen, but it didn't. It would have happened if Russians were as stupid as before. But obviously they pay a large price, but they learn. So right now it's time for us to pay the price and learn. Unfortunately.
So, but anyway, the basic story here is that Russia broke the defensive line that was on this hill. They captured and I'll just say it, they executed the prisoners. They Ukraine was forced to completely withdraw from these positions and fall back pretty far. Um, I don't think they even went back to this tree line. I think they went all the way back. And as a result, Evena is getting pretty terribly flanked. It's getting shelled to smithereens with enormous amounts of both artillery and rockets being fired into the town. Russia has taken this main intersection at the front of the town. There's been combat going on along this street here, and it all looks pretty bad. We're probably going to be getting into the Battle of Chasiv Yar pretty soon here, and hopefully there are defenses there.
So the problem, no, there are no defenses. They have not yet started building. Well, they are starting right now, but there is no equipment and there is no people to do this. So equipment is not enough. You need people also. So they're like going back and forth from thinking, should we defend or should we pull people from the defense lines and to build fortifications, because we simply don't have people who are, the brigades are heavily understaffed. And there is no people who can build the fortification basically. So it's I think we're probably gonna I don't even know, like it's literally we can lose so much territory right now that I don't even have good scenarios what to do here, because the trenches are 1/5 of what they should be. They're meant 1/5 to what they should be. And when the situation is like this, you ask who is building fortifications. You need to build fortifications, not only the equipment that is needed, but people are also needed. And like we have no equipment, we have no people, and we have no materials either to do that. So I think we'll have to, pay the price until the next wave mobilization of and it is announced, and it's gonna be, maybe we can lose Chasiv as well. I think we may be able to hold it, but who knows? I don't know. Like, depends how many more bad decisions are going to be taken. Obviously, the Zelensky doesn't want to do mobilization. Syrsk is going to be looking for people. They're probably going to try to pull someone from the, from Belarus border, from Transnistria border, from Odessa. Don't get me wrong, like people are sitting there, they're needed there. It's not like a joke that they're just doing nothing over there, chilling. No, you need people there still, and you don't want to keep their half-staffed, barely alive brigades, because Russians can attack from that side as well at any point, or start provocations. So it's quite dire situation right now, and this is the result of just accumulated mistakes starting from the summer, from the offensive, when we wasted all the people, when we wasted all the ammo, did not prepare did not have the plan B, did not have plan B for United States abandoning Ukraine, and now we simply just waking up and after the hangover, basically.
Yeah. I think pretty much everything going wrong right now is self-inflicted. I don't think the issue is necessarily external to Ukraine. It's like the U.S. not giving aid is.
So if we would have ammunition, things would be much better, because you can no matter the problems, if we have ammo, it's much easier. Like, those problems are mitigated. Not everything is perfect, but still, with a lot of ammo, you can fight back. But if you don't have ammo and you failed all other, everything else, then it triggers like a house of cards, basically. But if we had ammo, this would not have happened. This would not be as bad as it was. Like, probably Russians would advance, but they would do it much slower, and with much higher losses. So,
yeah. My point is that Ukraine had ammo and they just wasted it.
Well, this is where you expend your ammo. We used too much for the offensive. Yeah, sure. I cannot argue with that. We should have stopped it earlier. But once again, it even by the by any standards, what we had for the offensive is not like it was some kind of huge number. It was big number for us, but in terms of how much we need, it was still not that much. And our government probably expected for the ammo supplies to slow down, but at the same time still not dry out completely. Right now they are dried out completely, and it's things are quite terrible, and because of that as well. So it's multiple factors, as you can say. A lot of factors are because of us, like wasting them, well, not wasting, using it, expecting the West to keep the supplies, not mobilizing, not build fortifications. But from the external front, we did not get the aid, and because of that, we don't have all the problems. Like, you could fall back to the using more ammo, but there is no ammo, so everything as bad as it can be probably right now.
Anyways, so that's kind of this area. I don't know what else to say. As Kashifa, the defense has been holding on pretty decently, but they might get flanked soon. So they've been able to hold Russia off from attacking south from Ivanivska. But to be fair, Russia is more focused on Ivanivska in general. Once they take the town, they'll probably shift south.
Sorry, and where are the Ukrainians in Kashifa? They're actually in the town, but not up on that ridge above the town?
No, they're on this hill.
Oh, okay.
So, this these parts of the trench is 100% Ukrainian held. Um, this part of the trench is more or less Ukrainian held, and this part of the trench is kind of unknown. It seems that it's a gray area. I've seen both Russians and Ukrainians in this part of the trench. So, so it's like this part is unknown, and this is mostly Ukrainian, and all of this is totally Ukrainian. And on the flip side, Ukraine definitely controls this trench, this part of the trench, and this part I have no idea, and this part of the trench I have no idea. But yeah, Ukraine controls most of the trench, probably like 2/3, or maybe 75%. All the videos we get from here are drone attacks, basically. It's Russia attacking all of the bunkers here. The bunkers here seem pretty good. The way they're constructed is it's like a concrete box with like a meter of earth around it. The drones come in and they try to like blow away the earth. But it's kind of pointless, to be honest. It takes so many drones to blow away a meter of earth. And then under that, there's like a concrete building. And from what I can tell, Ukraine goes in and refills those craters with earth whenever they get a chance to. Yeah, that's the kind of Klashivka. I have no news really of Andriivka and Kurdimivka. So yeah. People saying that like Ukraine is out of people. Ukraine's not out of people. Ukraine is, they're failing to mobilize. They're failing like politically. But they're not out of people. Like it's so
No, not exactly that. First of all, like we need money and to mobilize. And when you're gonna mobilize, you will lose, like for example, 5,000 males, 500,000 males. You're gonna face an issue that you take them from the economy that is, struggling as is. So while Ukraine does have the people, it's unclear that the results of this mobilization can have devastated results on the economy. And of course, it's not popular. There is, a lot of concerns that people are super not happy. There is so much whining about it. And I understand people don't want to go and die. And because the terrible campaigns, Bakhmut campaign, and then terrible counteroffensive, and now terrible Avdiivka, defense, and Ukraine losing territory, like the morale in the society is quite low. So it's hard to go join the military when you see that and the aid is not coming, when you don't quite understand what to do with it, and you don't understand what you're going to do there. You don't understand there is no aid from the West, and people are really having low morale right now, and it requires like to fix that, like in good old games, you need a leader that has +3 to morale. No matter how stupid it sounds, but the only thing that can fix it is the aid, and a leader that can be charismatic and can revitalize something, revitalize our efforts, like show that we're building fortifications once again. I don't know, find something that would connect with the people in the depression. And unfortunately we don't have that. We don't have aid, or we don't have the leader that can do that. It's quite dire. But I do believe that we will figure something out and we'll fix it. But it just gonna come at very big price. Unfortunately, at some point I think our leadership is gonna say, okay, we it's not going that well. We have to start trying once again, like we did in the beginning of the invasion.
So, well, I'm gonna keep going south. Um, there is one interesting piece of news that Ukraine controls more ground near Mayorsk than I thought they did, and their trench lines, etc., are being hit by drones and Russian artillery in a position that I didn't think they were in, and that it was interesting to see. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't know when this happened or how or whatever, but it was interesting to see yesterday. Um, Similarly, I'll go back and uh, where am I? Similarly, um, Ukrainian positions are getting shelled here, um, which is actually oddly close to Orlivka. So we know that Ukraine moved into these positions when they did that little like weird flag waving ceremony on top of this hill. They moved through and apparently captured all of these houses here. Anyway, so it's just interesting that they still hold them. I didn't it wasn't obvious that they still held them, but they do. Anyways, so getting to Avdiivka. Um, the news here is bad, to be honest. Over the past year and a half, I have heard a very large number of both Ukrainian soldiers and volunteers and foreigners, and basically everyone who was in this area was complaining that Ukraine was not building a line of defense behind Avdiivka. Um, and now we're paying the price for it because there's really no line of defense behind it. Um, I think Ukraine is going to basically fall back until they hit um, a natural barrier of some sort that they can defend. I think they were hoping that this natural barrier would be Orlivka, because there's these ponds and a little hill, etc. But it's not. They're gonna lose Orlivka. Um, they're fighting for this school in the southern portion of the town already. So Russia is like assaulting that school. Russia will, I don't know when, it might take a week, it might take a month, but they're gonna capture Orlivka. They're gonna capture Tonenka. Um, Russia is assaulting Berdichi. They're probably gonna capture that too eventually. Don't know when. Berdichi, maybe not. Maybe not Berdichi, but for certain, Orlivka and Tonenka. Uh, I don't know where the natural barrier is going to be. I don't know why they never built defenses. It's all very weird to me. I mean, this is a location where Ukraine had 10 years to build defenses and never did it. I don't get it. Um, the one good news.
So it's not like let's be honest, like it's not first of not 10 years. Or like we had Avdiivka with pretty good defenses.
Yeah.
Of course, we could build more lines of defense. Definitely, you can never have many of those. But the reason why it was not built, once again, it was that there was this back and forth between who's going to build it, military or or civilian government. And like government basically said, we don't care. Like it's the war. You do the building. We don't know how to do it. Like it's your job. But while it sounds nice on the paper, in reality, military simply does not have the resources to do it. First of all, you have people actually engaged in fighting, and like, you lose people, and you use them to revitalize the brigades. So there were no people to do the massive construction, and we're talking about a strategic defense line, not tactical, some couple of trenches. We need concrete. It's not only the trenches themselves. You need concrete, to survive the Cubs, to survive the glide bombs. You need type of fortifications that will survive heavy artillery barrages, like really, really, really heavy. And for that, you need the materials. Materials were never provided to the military. Military does not have enough finances to do it themselves, because it's a lot. To build a strategic line, you need a lot of defenses, and you need heavy equipment. As an example, I will give you. I'm working with one of the brigades, and they're right now they're building. It's not right now, but they always do it. They build their command center using the 20 and 40 feet containers, shipping containers. And what they do, they dig a hole, dig the ground, and put the containers in there, and then put it on top of them some concrete, and put the ground on top of them, so they are safe from pretty much everything. However, issue with that is this container, because you gotta put it quite deep. You need at least 50 to 75 ton crane that can lift it, because you really have a big arm. You gotta have it's not because it weighs 55 tons, because if you're familiar with the construction equipment, at the point where it's going to be operating, the capacity of the lift is going to be on like 20 tons or 15 tons, because the lever of the crane is too large, it's too long. And they simply don't have, even if brigades have some engineering equipment, it's usually cranes up to 20 tons, 25 tons maybe, and even those it's not a standard equipment of the mechanized brigade. Maybe engineering units have that, but not mechanized brigades. So it's like they don't have also usually a mechanized brigade has one excavator per brigade. Artillery brigade has one, and how much can you do with that? Trench digging excavators are very scarce as well. You cannot find them right now. So it's like they simply cannot do it themselves. And there was this back and forth, who's gonna do it, and this ended up that military is supposed to do it, but because military did not have resources, they obviously could not do it. And whose fault is this? Well, I cannot blame military for not having equipment, for not having construction materials and people to do so. So it was supposed to be solved by the political leadership, by transferring the heavy equipment, or using our construction companies, like Russia did. What Russia did, they basically hired their construction companies to do this, and pay them quite a lot. And this could have been a solution, or just transferring equipment to our military and doing mobilization could have been, but this did not happen, and that's why we have it. And I'm sorry for ranting about this all over and over again. I'm just trying to, you keep asking, I don't know why it happened. Well, this is why it happened.
Yep. See, to me, like I hear you say that, but it's like Jesus, man, it's like this is such an important thing. It's like you'd hope that the political system would find a solution. Like, I don't care what the solution is, but you have to have the solution, and it needs to have been implemented like 2 years ago. Like that's what I think. Like, if you want the military to do it, then you have to do the things. If you're not going to use the military, you have to do the other things. You just like pick one and go with it, and get it done. Like it blows me away that this is like we're in the second year, like well, a third year now. We're in the third year of the war, and this isn't fixed yet. It's bizarre, dude. It's not. I don't get that. But yeah, I don't know where the defensive line is going to be. Like I have no ability to predict. The one thing I can say is that Russia is they're gunning for the south. I don't think they really care about the north. I don't think they really care about moving west from Avdiivka. I think they're mostly doing it for two. I think they're mostly moving west from Avdiivka for two reasons. First, they can, so they're doing it, and second, they want to get as far as they can before Ukraine figures out what's going on and can defend itself. So it's just opportunism that they're moving west from Avdiivka, but I don't think that's really their strategy. I think their main military strategy is to move south, and I think they want to get to Krakow as soon as possible and capture the city, and keep going. I think that is Russia's really their main goal here. They've gotten Marinka. They tried capturing Herivka, and that failed miserably. They've now been assaulting Krasnohorivka. Um, you can see on my map I have labeled uh, the southern portion of this city as a gray area. I might be this gray area might not be large enough. It's possible that they've taken parts of this railway. It's possible that they control the southern straits of this residential area. And I have heard rumors that Ukraine is withdrawing up to the railway, if not all the way up to this factory. So they may be giving up the southern portion of Krasnohorivka. Russia is also attacking um, from the east, from Staromykolivka. So putting pressure on the outskirts of Krasnohorivka. Now these outskirts are pretty well defended. There's a lot of good fortifications there, but the southern portion not so much. Um, so yeah, I think this kind of southern area is more where Russia is going to be throwing more and more men into, and we could see a lot of pretty big changes here. I think I'm actually surprised they haven't launched a main attack yet. They may be waiting to break the southern defense of Krasnohorivka before they launch a significant attack. I'm not sure. Yeah, this whole area, we could see very significant changes. Uh, I'm just not really sure what's going to happen in the near future, which isn't a great feeling, to be honest. Not great. Um, uh, to the south, um, Eurozhana and Staromayorska. There's been constant rumblings that Russia is going to launch an offensive here to retake all of this area that Ukraine took in their counteroffensive. I don't know if that's ever going to actually happen, but today there were a whole bunch of airstrikes. Some of them were bombs, and most of them were rockets. The bombs were mostly over here. Um, Russia's been hitting this area, which is to the west of Novodonetsk. They've been hitting this area with a lot of heavy weapons. The other day there was a large toss strike over here, and now there's these bomb strikes. And generally speaking, it seems that Russia wants to uh, advance somewhere in this general area around Novodonetsk, but they've not been able to do so successfully. They tried attacking north from Shevchenko, and that pretty much failed. They've tried attacking north out of here towards Zolota Niva, but that has failed as well. They tried moving up this little tree line here, and that failed. But they're trying to break through somewhere and move up. Uh, yeah, this part of the line has been stable for a very, very long time, for the most part. Ukraine did move up here in their offensive, but to the north of this river here, it's been pretty stable. And around Rabatina, we had a video of Ukraine assaulting to the west of Verbova, apparently taking part of this trench line here. This trench has gone back and forth for a while, which is why I mostly paint. I paint most of this trench as a gray area because it's gone back and forth a lot. I'm not sure how to read that little attack there. But other than that, I don't know, dude. Russia tried capturing Rabatina. They got really deep into the town, and they've apparently been pushed back out. They tried going up the eastern part of the town between Rabatina and Verbova, and I don't know of any significant moves since then. And that was a while ago. That was like a week ago. So that's about that. I don't know, Constantine. Do you have anything to add? Anything you'd like to say?
No, I think we need to pull out here as well. Just level the line, because but once again, we have to have the fortifications, and it appears that we don't have any here either.
Well,
So
maybe
yeah.
I think I'm not talking about like Rabatina. But generally speaking, Zaporizhia, I think, is very well defended. I wish the rest of the front line were as defended as down here, personally. And I
No,
think
I'm talking about Robotina,
yeah,
because we did not build, like, you cannot build there actually because of the endless shelling. It just not doing.
yeah, but Ukraine's line before the offensive, it's like back here. It's Avlika, Novosilka, and all these towns here. This line is, I think, pretty good. Like as good as Ukraine is going to get, probably. There's a lot of concrete fortifications, a lot of bunkers. There's a lot of trenches through a lot of these towns. I think that line is really good. Everything south of that line that they took in the offensive, probably not that great. But I'm the least worried about any major concessions in this area. I wish
What I'm worried about is that they will.
Avdiivka. Yeah.
So what I'm worried about there is that in Robotina they will try to do something like with the, just let's try to keep it as long as we can, and waste a lot of whatever we have left of our brigades, keep them there, and eventually lose them, and instead of just trying to pull back to the positions that you can defend.
One last place to talk about is Krinky, where Russia has taken some area in Krinky, and Ukraine is taking area too. It's like they're just shuffling west. So like Russia took the easternmost portions of what Ukraine used to control, and Ukraine is just kind of like shifting west, down the river, I guess. Now, Krinky is not super important in any sort of like tactical sense. They've done so much damage to Russia. It's incredible. The amount of vehicles they've destroyed, and the amount of damage that they've done to Russian brigades. Ukraine could use like another 40 crinkies. Do you think you could find like another 40 crinkies, Konstantin? Maybe not.
Sorry, you got disconnected.
Sorry. Do you think Ukraine could find like another 40 crinkies or so?
So you asked me. I'm not sure because
I keep getting disconnected from Discord. I don't think I'm getting disconnected from you. I don't think I'm getting disconnected from YouTube, but I am getting from Discord.
I think from you asking the questions 2 times. I heard first time I heard the first part, second time I heard the second part.
That's funny.
So if I get it right, do you think if Ukraine can get another bridgehead like in Krinka?
Well, not necessarily a bridgehead, but just like a battle. It's so successful. That's what I mean. It's like they've done so much damage.
But we need to land and hold somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. We exhausted so much. I mean, while Russians are losing so much and sending so much there to fight, the resupply of those people there is really hard, and we're losing so much people on the Dnipro while trying to resupply it. And I don't know if we can do it again. Honestly, like I'm not sure. It just seems too. It seems like we don't have resources. I mean, even if we had 3 divisions waiting there, I'm sure, but I don't think so.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. It like the cost benefit analysis of it is I think very in favor of Ukraine. Like Ukraine has really benefited. Anyways, I don't really have anything else to talk about. That's kind of all the news I got. It's just not going well right now. That's kind of the underlying point. If people, Jimmy Jams in the comment section here, he cannot wrap his head around us having different opinions on things. I'm not even sure we have different opinions, to be honest. I think our opinions are pretty in line. Oh, jeez. Anyways, Constantine, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Like fundraisers or anything? Because I think you have a fundraiser, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was talking on mute. So thank you for bringing this up once again, and thank you for your support in fundraisers. I have a fundraiser actually right now that is related to what we discussed. I want to get. We're being asked actually to help the 26th Brigade to get an excavator. This excavator, JCB, or it's a backhoe excavator that is used to create fortifications for for our troops, for equipment. And this one specifically will be used for the 26th Brigades to create fortifications for the Crab SPGs. We helped them a lot already, and if you're interested, I would appreciate if you could donate or share the link to the fundraiser. We fundraised 11,000 right now. It's usually a third of what we do in the first 2 days. But it is what it is, and situation is the excavator is very much needed. It costs around $50,000. It's going to be a used one. A new one costs around 100,000. I don't think I can fundraise for that, but we can get one that costs 50,000, and it's a good excavator. It's going to be in good condition. We're gonna do some repairs and maintenance before transferring it, and I would really appreciate if you can chip in and donate. This will save lives and equipment of our troops. Yeah, and this includes the excavator and pickup truck or a 4x4 with it. That they also asked for the utilities.
Do you have any update on your crab armor?
Yeah, this is actually an update. Like this post is an update on the crab armor. As you can see, this is like we developed we built the crab cages for 18. I think it was 18 howitzers. And not many people believe that it will work, but it's actually right now a third crab that. Let me share one more picture with you if you don't. I'll send it to you in the Telegram. All right.
Okay.
It's not public yet. So and so far I definitely know that it helped two of them. It saved two crabs, and of course it's not only the cage itself, the screen on top of that helped as well. But like I'm sure that our cages played a large part, and that's the feedback from the guys that we provide the help with, and they are sharing the pictures and they're super happy. And I just sent you another picture of our crab of the screen that took damage, and as you can see, if you share it, you will see that the crab itself was not penetrated.
It's downloading.
It's a big picture. Probably 3 or 5 kilobytes.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not published yet, so I hope people will not steal it. But yeah, I'm fine if someone steals it. Yeah, so yeah, this is the results. It works. It's not perfect. It does not work 100%, but it works. And I know 2 out of two crabs that was struck survived, and this armor was on it. So and it makes me happy. It makes me think that we save, not only not only the crew, but also this is a multi-million-dollar equipment. The crabs, they cost like, I don't know, like probably around the 10 million or something. But so if we manage to save one, is great. Now they're telling me that we saved 2, and it makes me super happy. I once again, some people may say, okay, it wasn't only the cage, it was a lot of things around it as well. But I know that cage played a large part in it, so it makes me happy.
So
And it's your way to contribute.
I have a question. How is their cage going to be repaired? Do you need like money for that?
No, they will repair it themselves. We gave them a little bit more of the the net itself. Well, I don't know how to call it in English.
Fence?
It's sheets. Yeah, this is a perforated metal sheets. We gave them. They have them, and they will just weld it on and weld them on. So it shouldn't be a big problem for them. They have welders. They have everything that they need. Key here was the most complex part was manufacturing the frame itself, bending it, welding it, and designing it. We went through 3 iterations to build it. My mom did the blueprints for it. We went, did a lot of measurements, and now it's repair is quite easy here, I think.
Okay. There you go. Yep. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think we have a video of one of the crabs getting hit. I'm pretty sure it was a crab, and it looked like it was wearing the armor, but may have just been different armor. Are the crabs wearing different clothing, Constantine? I think of it as clothing.
Well, I'll have to say that these two crabs that were hit, they were stationary. They were not on the move when they
Yeah.
were hit.
Yeah, the one that we saw was on the move.
Yeah, so this was probably from their brigade, but a different division, different battalion.
Yep. All right. So I think that's all. Anyway, Exit, do you want to say something? Okay. So I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. The link to your fundraiser is in the description of the video. So. All right. So I'm gonna look through the chat to see if there's any questions, or if they're just fighting that Jimmy guy who seems pretty angry all the time. All right, so that's that. We'll be back on Friday. The stream will be what time is it? I think it's 9 p.m. Central European time, or something like that. Anyways, we'll see you then. Goodbye, everybody. Or unless Exit wants to say something, she keeps like unmuting herself.
No, I was just going to say goodbye. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.